a privilege to start the day and the ASCRS meeting off with a gathering like this. We had a wonderful set of breakout sessions this morning, over 300 attendees at the 5 breakout sessions. I've already gotten nice feedback about that ad that we added last year, and I think we'll keep doing it. It gives us more time to go deep on a few topics that are important to us. I'm here to team up with Emmett and Gil and say thank you. Thank you for your commitment to innovation in ophthalmology. There is so much that we have accomplished and so much that we have yet to accomplish. You just heard the overview of the day. You know that we have a flow of topics and agendas. One of our commitments to each other is that we'll stay on time. And so one of the things that we find is that we know that you're not going to be interested in every topic. So it's absolutely fair game. Get up, wander off, network outside. We've got plenty of meeting space inside and outside, where the room, thanks to all the registrations, is a little tight. And so we appreciate everyone coming in. What I thought I would do is spend a few minutes just kind of reminding ourselves about what we're up to here at OIS. One thing we realized a while back is that we have a special opportunity to get the constituents that are necessary and required for innovation all together in one meeting. So it's the entrepreneur, executive, the team, the key opinion leaders, the early adopters, the clinicians, financial partners in one way or the other, as well as industry leaders. We have about 500 attendees. It's our largest ASCRS OIS meeting, and it's a nice breakout overall. 35% or so team. Inventors, early team members, clinicians, early adopters, about 15%. A little lower participation on the financial support side. But I'm here to say that a few of us really important financial guys are here, so we're okay. So we're carrying the load. Some 25% of the industry leaders, and thank you, for coming. It's so important to us. And then another 20% of important people that are support players in innovation. Quite a journey. This is our 12th OIS meeting. The inaugural meeting in 2009, we established with the Academy. It was Emmett's idea. He called me some months before we put the first meeting on, had this idea of getting people together to talk about investments in ophthalmology, and I said, "Are you sure?" "I'm not sure that makes sense." And he said, "Well, Bill, let's try it." And I said, "Okay, we'll team up." And guess what? I still remember at the Palace Hotel, the room we had, we thought was plenty large, but the fire marshal had to lock the door. We were overflowing, and the only way someone could come in from the hallway was someone else had to exit. And so I said, "Emmett, you were right. I think we've stumbled onto something a little bit important." I still had a tinge of red in my hair at that time. It's gone away in the meantime. For those of you that can see the slide here, Mark Blumenkrantz is looking very young in this slide. So that was the advisory group that helped us launch OIS. Then being approached by David Karcher and others at ASCRS, we said, okay, we'll team up with ASCRS, and launched in 2012. Interestingly, we had about 270 attendees in that first meeting. That's grown, and now step by step, we went from a half day to a full day, and so it's again resonating. I wanted to also say thank you to Jim Mazo and Dick Lindstrom. They teamed up with Gil and Emmett and I with that initial OIS and helped set the agenda and set the tone. This is an anterior segment meeting primarily, and it's mostly surgical and drug delivery, so it's less pharma. The AAO meeting is more comprehensive, both front and back of the eye as well. And then now we're announcing today, and you've seen it potentially, is that we'll have an inaugural OIS meeting at ASRS. So we're really going to focus on the retina. We're going to start with a half-day meeting, and Emmett is taking the lead on the agenda. So as we know, the innovation cycle, and I'm going to step through this a little bit quickly because we don't need to go in detail at each meeting about the innovation cycle, but honestly, we have different stages. And at every stage, projects are threatened. We're going to talk a little bit about principles of innovation, remind ourselves of that, who the constituents are, which we've just talked about, and then I'll touch at a high level on the external environment. You've seen this before, I hope, where on the surgical side, these are the stages of innovation, where we invent, we reduce to practice, we fail, we try it again, et cetera. And so it's an iterative process. It's not quick, and it can be expensive. Some projects only take a few years, others can take a decade or more to honestly innovate. So we have to have the commitment, both at the personal and technology and team level, as well as a financial level, and we must be solving an important problem if we're going to dedicate that much time, energy, and financial commitment. On the pharma side, similar stages, more clinical iterations, more disciplined clinical iterations on the pharma side, but again, it doesn't happen overnight, does it? Okay, and so it's a real commitment on the part of the team, the financial supporters, and industry. Principles of innovation, this is my view. Innovation is focused on important, big opportunities. We need to seek the truth along the way. We have to be candid and truth-seeking as we progress. We have to be disciplined. We have to try things. We never know enough to take risk out without trying it. We have to be willing to fail. It has to be in our culture. We hate it, but we may need to have a failure or a setback or two. We can't be paralyzed by our mistakes. We can't be paralyzed by our mistakes. Skilled, we have to be skilled. And a lot of times as we're building teams, we don't have the range of skill. If we're honestly innovating and if it's disruptive, we don't know enough. And so we may need to bring talent in from other sectors that have skills and know-how that we may not have on our team. And we have to be assertive and focused and tight, but not arrogant. Okay, arrogance fails. Professionalism always pays off. Keep your head up. When it doesn't work, admit it. Don't explain it. You say, whoops, I tried it, didn't quite work the way I wanted. I backed up and tried again. So those are the principles of innovation I like to remind myself of periodically, and each of us along the way. Where does it happen? It happens where the innovators are. That's where innovation happens, and where the culture allows and fosters innovation. Corporate culture of innovation, very challenging. The larger an organization is, the tougher it is to keep innovating. The larger an organization is, the tougher it is to keep innovating. So stay nimble and try to keep that culture intact. We've talked about the key contributors to the cycle, innovation cycle. I'm going to touch at quite a high level on the financial markets without a lot of detail. Thank you to Silicon Valley Bank and Jonathan Norris specifically for letting us use the nice data that the bank pulls together. And so 2015 was another banner year for healthcare. At the start of 15, the report indicates that it was hard to imagine it could match what had happened in the markets in 14, and it nearly did. And despite the slowdown in Q4 that we experienced, the forecast is, and I think what we're living, is that the healthcare industry is poised for a strong 2016, though the activity is a bit less than it was last year. I'd like to draw your attention on this slide. This is the total healthcare investments in the United States. Hit a 15-year high, so we had an amazing surge in the year 2000. We've been down a bit in the meantime in terms of total investment in our field. And in the last 2 to 3 years, it's really come back in a strong way. What about trending? The biopharma early investments, Series A investments, are definitely trending up. Device down a bit, and diagnostics down a bit. Still substantial investments in each category, but if anything, the trends are more toward the biopharma side. Healthcare venture exits, very important. Innovation has to be rewarded to attract resources, both talent and capital. And thankfully, there have been some really attractive exits in the last while. And we love to see that. And we'll have our ups and downs on creating value. But when we are creating value and there are high value exits, it's not only very satisfying for that individual project and that individual team and the company, but it brings continued support to a field. So as we wrap on thinking about the environment, the 2016 outlook will be a little more challenging, Jonathan forecasts, than in 15. But the biopharma IPO window is remaining open, not quite as fervent as it has been in the past. M&A will continue, we're seeing that. There are good examples already in the year. Device IPO activity is tighter, but M&A activity on the device side is solid. And we anticipate continued acquisition in the space. So the venture financing in healthcare has regained momentum, no question. The IPO activity has picked up in 13 and 14, remained very strong in 15, and we think it'll be solid, but a bit more moderate in 16. M&A activity remains very strong, but it's impacted by the give and take and the restructuring that sometimes happens in industry sectors. Relative attractiveness of the ophthalmic sector, thanks to everybody in this room, is very strong and very solid, so innovation and support continues to be focused in ophthalmology. So as I wrap up, I'd just like to say that there's still immense unmet need. Innovation resources, we know, are attracted and focused where they're rewarded. The key constituents are in this room, okay? Not exclusively, but we're thankful that we're able to interact and develop real relationships and candor and energy among the constituents in innovation. The sector is gaining momentum. And you've heard this from me before, but I really can't stand before my colleagues at a time like this without saying thank you. Because when we do well, so many people benefit. Thank you very much.